So for anyone who needs it, the model that we are backtesting today is Belarus. This consists of a 1 hour sweep, a 5 minute CISD, and then simply taking that trade for 1R or 5 or 3R. Sorry, two R. So we need one higher time frame PD array, 1 hour or more. Then when we tag that PD array and trade away from it, we want to be sweeping the previous hour. When we have swept that previous hour, we're looking for a 5 minute CISD. And the idea at the minimum needs to be a 1R, but we are backtesting the 2R idea as well. Another crude depiction is here. So that 1R idea will lead us 3R, or will yield us 3R, 4R, and 5R. The 2R idea with those three entries will lead us to 6R, 7R, and 8R entries. So Anya did teach us a key element of her model yesterday, is that we do need to sweep the most recent hourly candle. So I'll show you an example in a moment, but this here, this candle swept the candle prior to that, along with other candles, but it's key that it sweeps out the most previous candle as well. And then it does close as a sweep all the way up here, confirming the CISD at the same time and the sweep. So this is this is how a key setup would, or how an A plus setup would kind of look. And this is more of a crude depiction for the rules of the model. If anyone has questions, feel free to ask. So far, we are 63 reps in. We're looking at a 55% win rate, and we're averaging 2.24R, with an average 4.19R for the max idea, meaning the original entry to the original stop loss. This entire idea, we're yielding about 4R on average. So we're getting, if we're dividing that up into our risk sinking entries, we're looking at 12R, 13R, and 14R on average. The win rate is 55% currently across 63 reps. All right, so yeah, it's actually not I think there's a few losses in here. I mean, think about it. A lot of losses that we're taking is because of the risk sinking, right? But the idea alone, I should actually have a way to track that. The full idea from entry to stop loss, I don't see too many of those failing. For example, if we go into the sheet here, I don't think there's any instance in which all three get stopped out, right? Because we have entry one getting stopped out, entry two making profit, entry three making profit. But the entire idea getting stopped out, I would argue that that win rate is a lot higher. Yeah, like no risk sync. Exactly. Um, so I think that's actually, I think that's the discrepancy between Hitler's backtest and our backtest, is that because he's not implementing risk syncing in his backtest, that full idea actually has a lot larger win rate. And I could theoretically go back and add that data to this sheet. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that, but we'll just take Hitler's word for that. Okay, he forward tested, not back tested. So yeah, so like, with that being said, no worries. Um, the win rate itself for the actual stop loss, for the original stop loss, I don't think that's failing often, because usually I'm gonna even just say off the top of my head, I can't recall a single instance in which we've had to take all 6 stops. So yeah. All right, so let's get into it. So this is and we've only had today's like session 7. I do have every single session recorded. With that being said, here's an example. We swept a lot of lows. We even tapped a higher time frame PD array. But with that being said, we were not able to sweep the most previous candle. And then on top of that, we closed below the previous candle, and we closed a BISI in the meantime. So this is a context in which she says she would actually not take this sweep, or she wouldn't look at this as a valid setup, even if it's sweeping, like, I don't know, we have like 12 candles here that we've swept, tapping into this PD array. All these candles technically we've swept, with the exception of the most previous candle, and this previous candle invalidates the entire idea. So that is actually a very key detail that I think will save us from a lot of hurt. But anyway, um Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns before we get started here? Can you repeat the criteria for the 1 hour sweep again? Yes, no problem. For the 1 hour sweep, we want it to sweep the most previous candle. That's a key detail. So although it's sweeping, I don't know, a lot of candles, like 20 candles here, she would not take this setup because it closed below the most previous candle and it closed below the BISI. So closing below the BISI is obviously another key detail here, but closing below the previous candle invalidates that sweep. So although we swept countless candles and closed above countless candles, this is an invalid sweep because it did not sweep the most recent candle, the most recent 1 hour candle. So this is the actual idea. She was still on stream with us when we were going through this. So we will not take this sweep here because of the narrative that she said to us. Hold on, I do want to tag one more person. He complained yesterday that he missed a session, so just want to tag him. No problem. All right, here we go. So, all right, so we don't come back for the setup anyway. This would have been the 5-minute CISD down here. We don't come back and tap the entry. So this one, theoretically, if we were to take it and ignoring that advice, this would have hit target, but it didn't tag us in. We take previous day high one more time. And she also mentioned that she's not looking at necessarily the one candle CISDs, because there's not enough time in real life to kind of take those trades. And I agree with her. If we're taking one entry, obviously there's plenty of time to do that. But trying to divide the risk sync, set entries and TPs, or entries and stop losses before we come back to tag that entry, probably unlikely, right? So one candle CISDs will take a look. We'll take a deeper look at those like as we move on in price action. But I don't think there's much time to take it. So this being the up close candle, the CISD wouldn't actually occur till down here. So we do have a huge stop here. Sorry, there we go. CISD I don't have labeled anymore. We cross that threshold there. Our stop loss would be that swing high down to this open. And our stop loss would be here. So our 3 entries, one here, stopped, or sorry, one there, there. Let's see if we even get tagged in. This is a huge stop. It may just go without us. One thing I'm going to throw in discretionarily again, if you're anticipating that price is going to trade in a certain direction, right? Like we've swept previous day high here 3 times now. If you're anticipating that we're actually going to get lower, you can foresee this as becoming a future order block. What I like to do is I like to take mean threshold of this prior to that order block being confirmed. And then when order flow prints on this mean threshold, I like to see, does it hold price up or does it fail? And when it prints order flow on it like this, and then we print below that, or it fails basically, then I know that this is going to be the next point of entry to like establish order flow and hold order flow down. This can happen above this mean threshold or right underneath of it, but the area is generally at mean threshold, and there's plenty of examples of this. So you kind of just, if you're anticipating this to become a future order block, you can wait to see, does this hold or not, and then take an entry from here down into this low. And then obviously if it works out, you can continue to hold. If you get some sort of like sweep like this and then price trades right back up, then you know that this was just a run on liquidity. So that's how I like to trade like these massive ranges. Is you can take like a quick scalp from here to here, essentially. Anyway, there is our entry 1 for this model. So this candle did close below previous candle, so we're looking good here. Wait a second, I missed a key rule. So see here again, we traded up to previous day high, right? We did confirm the 5-minute CISD down here. This is a new candle here. And we close here. Okay, See, this is technically not a sweep. Neither of these candles are technically a sweep. I don't think we actually take this trade. So I'm going to remove this because we don't have a qualifying sweep. Again, we did go through this with Anya yesterday, and I discussed with her, when you have one candle that trades up like this, or it was actually this example here, when you have one candle here and the next candle just trades in the opposite direction, gives you the 5-minute CISD, would you take that? She said no. So this is actually an invalid setup. I'm going to remove this. Well, the stop is divided into 3, right? So because the stop is divided into 3, 3 separate entries, with that stop, it was not 130 points. It would be like 40 points each. So I'm just gonna leave that on, but this is actually not a valid setup, so we can't take this. But, theoretically, entry 1 would be in. Again, we don't have that sweep, so we can't enter. And we'll just kind of watch for that sweep to occur. Respecting midnight at this moment. No sweep, no sweep. Still failure swings here. Okay, here we go. So we never hit 1R neither. So good reason to not take that trade. All right, there we go. So now we have a sweep in play. Let's see where this kind of... Oh, we're at 4 p.m. Never mind. I lied. Okay, so no trade there. Let me delete all of this and delete that cursor. I'll play into 1800 really quick, or I won't actually, so we don't look at further price action. I just want to double check my PDAs because sometimes I accidentally move them around. So we're inside of a daily volume. Inside of a daily volume balance right now. We're also inside of a weekly volume imbalance. This 1 hour is in the vicinity or below us. We have a daily BISI below us and a weekly volume imbalance. So we're still in the same exact range. We swept again 3-day highs, which is where we left off yesterday, also sweeping previous day highs. I'm going to just pull this hourly BISI forward. I want to look at the 4-hour to see what's here. So the hourly BISI is also a 4-hour BISI. We're also trading inside of a 4-hour BPR right now. And we do have this 4-hour inversion, actually, that's currently holding price down. Okay. And in the 1 hour, it's not exactly the same array, but there is a 1 hour inversion there as well, which I apparently already had marked. Let me BPR this guy. I don't want to get too complicated with the terms here. You count if closed through. Use more words, Maju. You count the 4-hour gap. If we close through it, yes. And notice I'm just kind of mentioning the arrays that are like right around us, right? Like I'm not going back like, obviously we're in an area of consolidation. I could mark out like every single PD array that's happening here. For the 4-hour, this is literally the most recent one, right? There's only highs and lows, and this is the most recent gap. On the 1-hour basis here. Oh, no. So this is an inversion here, right? So even though we closed through it here, we closed above it, but again, we closed through it. We close right back through it. So every time we get above it, right? Where it's being invalidated and closing right back lower. So yes, I'm still counting it. It's still in the most recent price action as well. So again, with the highs and lows that are in the area, this is the most recent gap, right? And I can also obviously mark out this one, but we're near this one right now, literally in price. Okay, so then 1 hour, we have this inversion as well, and then I had this 1 hour BISI below us marked out. Again, we're near it in price, not in time, but literally in price, we're kind of like right above it. So now jumping back into the 5-minute screen here. We'll play through. We are now at 1800. We do have this sweep above us occurred. The sweep here would not be a CISD until all the way down here. So yeah, that's that. We'll see how that goes. And then if we get a sweep to the upside, of course we do. Let's see. This is 7 o'clock here. So we did close. I can't tell where it came from. Let's see here. Yeah, we have this inversion here that's still holding. It held there, right? And then we don't have any new fair value gaps at the moment. We have this fair value gap here from this low to this high. So we're kind of in an area of like being sandwiched between PD arrays. I think it's okay to just wait here and just wait for something clearer, because all these candles swept one another, or all these candles failed to close above one another, but this sweep right now is the one that's holding. And then we have this sweep here that did finally do a CISD. I'll put it on just so we can see if I'm incorrect or whatever, but this is technically the trade idea. If we were to take it, it doesn't come back for the entry. Oh, we're already tagging 1 hour and 2 hours, so it would be invalidated anyway. Let's see if it tags 2. Okay, it doesn't tag 2. 1 hour entry is gone anyway. The entry still doesn't get tagged. I'm just kind of trying to watch for the opposing trades here. So we have failure swings here. We do have a sweep there. So again, this is the CISD that would be in play for us at the moment. Oh no. Oh well, no. Okay, this candle swept this candle. So this is the one that we're looking at so far. But this is the overall big sweep here. Okay. So this PD array holds, obviously. The 1 hour and the 4 hour together hold. It looks like the 1 hour we tapped basically to the tick and it failed. No. We're not in that trade because, sorry, we're not in that trade because we never got an entry anyway. Right? So we get a sweep to this downside, right? We do have this 1 hour fair value gap to take it. Let me show you this one right here. We have an hourly fair value gap here. We could have taken that technically. We did sweep it and go up, but we don't get an entry for that anyway, right? So this is where that entry would be. We don't get tagged in. Once 1R is hit, those entries are removed because our target has already been hit, and it never comes back to tag us into a 2R trade anyway. So these ideas are gone. We've now created another sweep here, and the CISD would not be until down here. I just kind of want to wait and see what's happening. We have this sweep. We fail this high here, so we still don't get the sweep, and then we finally CISD here. So on this CISD right here, this would be the entry. Oops. Wow, I still have the link from yesterday. All right, let me take a look at comments really quick. Which indicator overlays the higher time frame? This guy right here. I don't know, Kittler. Okay, sorry I'm late. No worries, cause Oh, that's why you asked. Okay. So now, with that being said, wouldn't have taken that trade or just didn't have an opportunity to take that trade. The idea would now be here. This is our new stop. And this would be our theoretical entry. Oops. Keep grabbing the higher time frame PDAs. Let me lock this in really quick because I know that we spend a lot of time around this guy. Excuse me. Okay. Um, I just want to double check here. So I also think that this is technically still an invalid setup as well because we have this fair value gap that's currently holding. We haven't inversed it yet. So this may be a premature entry. This could be something that gets stopped here. We're kind of just, this one is holding, but this one hasn't fully failed yet, right? Let me see where we closed. Okay, we did close below it. We did close below it. 885.25. The close here is 8. It's right on it. Hard to say. Okay, so using the same rule that we would use for entry where it needs to close above or below, I don't think that this is valid to take this trade because we are shorting right into a bullish fair value gap while a bearish inverse is holding us down. So it's still just we haven't failed this yet, right? So I don't see a reason to get chopped up in this. I'm going to choose to forego this. I could be wrong here, right? I could just be reading this wrong, but I don't think this is a valid setup because we haven't quite failed this PD array, being that we did not close below the low of this fair value gap. We closed right on that low. So I'm going to remain cautious here and not take this trade. So we're technically in entry 1. We are right at midnight as well. So we kind of want to see both of those fail at the same time. Okay, entry 2 and 3 would be tagged in theoretically. And then there we get stopped out. Okay, yeah. So that again, like we're just kind of sandwiched between two PD arrays here, right? Like and this is kind of what you see happen often if you pay attention. You have two PD arrays like this, and price just comes through and tags one, respects it, respects the other, and then we just kind of like chop, 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 chop inside until it finally breaks in one direction. And this literally happens all the time. So yeah, I just can't. Whenever I see price sandwich between two PDRs like that, it's just wait for one to fail or hold or whatever the case. Okay, so we had a sweep again to the downside. The 5-minute CISD would occur. This is technically the lowest candle here. And we're not taking the one candle CISDs, so this would also not be a valid setup for us right now. So again, let's just kind of wait to see what happens. We're into midnight here. So this is now the candle. We still didn't sweep this guy here, right? But we did sweep, obviously, the most previous candle, or we did sweep these. But we didn't sweep this candle right there. So again, this is a key element that we learned yesterday. If it didn't sweep the most recent candle, that we don't have a 1-hour sweep in our favor yet. And we just kind of let this play. I'm gonna pull this forward. We've now inversed that same PD array that we didn't want to long before, or didn't want to short into before. We've now inversed that. Oh, okay. We're now below midnight. So again, the first thing we're waiting for is a sweep. We are trading away from a 4-hour and a 1-hour PD array that we've tapped 4 times there. We've now inversed a 1 hour. So we have our higher time frame PD arrays that are, showing lower prices. But we do want a valid sweep. Feel like we're about to chop here. Okay, so we have a sweep. And we trade above it again. Did we close? So see, this candle swept here, right? This high swept this high, then closed here. No 5-minute CISD, so that sweep is there. No 5-minute CISD. We come up, we sweep again. Okay, now we have a 5-minute CISD. We're invalidating it right away. We're just gonna map this out here. So these two candles here are creating that high. And then we finally CISD right here. We are, this kind of, again, this thing is holding like a champ. But we do sweep. Let's see, hold on. We don't have a close on this candle yet. So I'm going to wait to see where this candle closes first. This 3 a.m. candle. Watch me be wrong. Darn. Okay. So 3 a.m. does close down here. So now this is this is definitely a valid sweep now. So let's say, here, trying to get my bearings here because it's so many, it's hard to see these candles behind us. We have this sweep here, we have the CISD. Do we sweep? Okay, we swept both sides. I'm gonna wait. We swept both sides. The candle swept the upside. We closed lower, but we swept the low and closed higher. So again, I'm gonna choose to sit on my hands here, waiting for the candle closes, just kind of keeping us out of trades right now. And again, we sweep the high one more time. This is a brutal London session. Oh my gosh. Okay. So obviously we have a valid sweep here. 5-minute CISD there. So this is a lot cleaner. What's happening here is a lot cleaner than what's going on in here, right? This is, again, sort of like a mixture of candles, up close candles and down close candles, clear consolidation. We've taken the high and the low, or these lows. We didn't take this external low yet. And we want to CISD first. And that's the close of 5 a.m. So 5 a.m. again swept both sides. Again, I'm going to choose to sit on my hands here. We'll see. I mean, we don't have the CISD yet anyway. So I'm not going to jump into anything. We need that another roll. Okay, so now we have a CISD here. This is kind of honestly hard to take. All right, we swept the high so many times. We also swept the low so many times. Every single candle, this is an outside candle, this is an outside candle in which we swept both sides. This is the CISD. We flipped this PD array. These PD arrays are holding, and we're below midnight. I'm leaning sell side here. I'm just gonna choose to sit this one out. I can, if you guys feel otherwise, if you guys want me to take the trade, obviously you guys can feel free to speak up. I think just because we don't have like a solid close on this one, Again, sweeping both sides. I think we can wait. I feel like this thing is gonna dump now, but I'm gonna choose to miss it, of course. And there would have went straight to profit. So theoretically here, I'll show you guys what that trade would have looked like had I had the guts to take it. So we would have gotten entry 2, entry 1. No, wait. We confirmed the CISD here. So entry 1 only, actually. Entry 1 only, and it would have tagged 1R and 2R instantly. And then we'd be out of that trade. So that's immediately after CISD. This one candle here confirms it, and then this candle, you would be in that trade. So again, the reason I didn't want to take it is because this candle here was an outside candle, sweeping both sides of the range, kind of just leaving us with indecision. I can use, though, for like advanced theory, which you can use when you're trying to take this in real price action, is you can just measure the wick, right? So we have the low to the body here, CE. Okay, yeah, so we don't even close below CE of the previous candle, so that'd be hard for me to take in real life. But you can kind of watch that CE to see how price reacts around that, and you can decide for yourself if you want to take it. All right, so now we've inversed. No, we have not. We've swept this entire hourly BIST. Let's see if we get another sweep. I want to see an upside sweep to continue this bearish move. We are trading into this daily BIST now. All right, we have an up close candle here for 7 a.m. and it's an inside candle. This is the perfect candle to see the buy side get swept. There we are above it. When you have an inside candle, that's the best candle to kind of see. All right, so 7 a.m. closes above 6 a.m. So we're not looking for a 5-minute CISD in here. Do we sweep this? And this is kind of hard to see. So this current candle does sweep the most previous candle. This is terrible. We have this CISD here. This would be the one. So these are the two up close candles before that high. This is the swing low. It's a very tight range. It's more than a one candle CISD, but this is still pretty quick. I do think that this is the right one, though. Okay, so 1R we cannot take. The 2R ideas are still on the table. So we CISD on this candle here. Literally, actually, the same candle that takes the high. Also CISDs here. And, yeah, it's too quick. Because then 1R would be off the table. Okay, I'm just going to let this one go. I'm not going to take that. Okay, great. We sweep the high one more time. So we don't currently have a sweep in confirmed yet. Okay, there we go. So this is got to be 8:30 news. I don't know what it is on Wednesday. It's more than likely ADP NFP. This is a lot cleaner again. This is again like we're chopping here, but now we have a series of candles. We have a clear close below. This I can definitely get behind. We've tagged previous day low after trading through it. We have our stop loss here, our entries accordingly. Don't have my CISD. This is a clear close below that. Okay. We're in entry 1. So we have a clear sweep here, and the CISD occurs below that sweep, right? And then we're inside of a hourly SIBI here, from there to there. after inversing this BISI as well. And then we've, traded, when we inverse that BISI, we traded below previous day low. We come back up to tag previous day low inside of a newly made BISI as well. All right, so we have 2 bearish PD arrays, 3 bearish PD arrays above us. We do sweep the previous hour, and we have that 5-minute CISD below that high. So this definitely is an A+ setup. I have no qualms with taking this. I do want to note, I think, yeah, we're at the bottom of this weekly array as well. This gigantic weekly volume imbalance that we've been inside of. We are now at the low of that, at this dark black line here, or the solid black line here. So we're also below that higher time frame PD array. So we're in entry 1 at the moment. Tag entry 1 again. Entry 1 gets stopped out. Entry 2 is now in. Ooh, wait a second. Gosh, these are hard. These are actually super hard. Okay. Okay, so we got tagged again. Gosh, I have to look at the 1-minute chart for this. Okay. We hit TP on entry 1 first. I'm going to have to just say that we more than likely, I mean, it's just so fast. I doubt we would have closed entry 2, but I can't count entry 2 just, like with the, just not to form fit. But we took profit on entry 1. But theoretically, I highly doubt anyone is quick enough to close out entry 2 after hitting TP. But whatever. We have, I guess, 3 minutes to decide to close that, so maybe we do have enough time. So I'll just track entry 1 here. We do hit TP first before getting stopped out, or before it comes back to entry 2. All right, so let me just track this really quick. If you guys have any questions about that, about why I was able to take, or why I was confident to take that trade, again, just let me know. We kind of just the inversion, the new PD array, closing below that weekly, closing below daily low. That's all time frame alignment to take that trade. I'm just going to tighten all this up really quick. Tighten this one up as well. Okay. I just have to divvy this up. So the CISD would occur on this candle. Our entry would be here. So this is entry 1 to 1R. This is actually gonna be hard to kind of show on a 5-minute basis. I'm just gonna leave it, because it shows on the 5-minute that we got stopped out, but we actually did hit TP first. I'll just have to make that as a note. Okay. That will have to do. 6 for 6. Good for you. Are you talking about from the original stop to, or the original entry to stop loss? Hmm. Okay. All right, so January 14th, Wednesday. Do we get no trades on the 13th? I guess not. Oh yeah, okay, I remember. We didn't take it because of those sweeps. 8:35. Okay, it's afternoons. We can all take that. So these are both entry 1, 1R, and 2R. So the exit would be on the same exact candle, would be the open. It's kind of both. I don't have multi-select here. I don't know why I did that. 1 hour to daily. Hold on a second. I do want to see something. Okay, so previous day did close bearish. So I just wanted to double check that we're also following daily bias there. Sweep, CISD, both hit profit. This is entry 1, 1R, entry 1, 2R. And the R on each trade 3 and 7.24. Don't know how that ends up being. And the max R on the trade. How do I measure that without spawning the rest of that? Hold on, let me drop this link really quick. I hate this part of the model. Or I hate this data. I hate this part of tracking the data because we have to play the action forward to see how far this trade would go. I also, let me see. Okay, there we go. That's better. So until we get a 5-minute sweep opposing us, which would happen there. Hold on a second. Yes, that would happen there. So easy. We'll call that 5.9R. All right, and the note I want to make here is that TP was hit prior. That way we can see from the chart that, we didn't get stopped out. We hit TP first. Okay. Any questions? We are hitting 1 p.m. right now. Just as a rough estimate, who wants to stay on and back test more? Let me just look at the higher time frame really quick. We are tagging the weekly volume imbalance once again. We've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4-day lows now. I'm inclined to go higher personally. It can go lower a little bit first. But after you take 3 highs or lows of anything, 3 session highs, 3 daily highs, 3 weekly highs, 3 monthly highs. That is going to pretty much always give you a strong reversal. I don't have a statistic on reversal on almost always, but it happens a lot. We'll play through. I'll try to, let's see. We're on Wednesday. Let's finish up Wednesday first. See how long this takes us. At the minimum, I'll try to finish up this week. But let's go through Wednesday, see what we can do, and then we'll do that. Okay, sweet, Coz. Yeah, if you can do that, if you can aim towards more intraday, that'd be great. Because it's kind of rare that we sweep 3 week highs, but or I guess you can quote me on that as well. You can get a statistic on that. But 3 weeks, I think, is probably going to happen maybe once a month or so, if that. Maybe not even that often. Yeah, 3 or more daily highs and lows. Yeah. If you have a way to do sessions too, that'd be awesome. All right, so let's play through. Yeah, let's that's what's up. That's what's up. Let's do it. All right, so we have a BISI printing above us. Sorry, a SIBI printing above us here. Let's see if it closes that way first. Yeah, so 10 a.m. is continuing the move. So this right here, that like where we tag the max R, this is what I was talking about. It just sweeps liquidity, it doesn't confirm. And I'm talking about anticipating a price leg becoming a future order block. Doesn't confirm there. Kind of just watching. This continues to expand lower. 11 a.m. does close below 10 a.m. at the moment. Okay, 12 is a solid consolidation. So we do have a sweep here. This would be the low. So the CISD would be up here. Now this looks like clear consolidation, right? So I would technically want the low to get swept one more time. We do have previous week low in the vicinity. Let's see where we are on the daily or on the daily chart. So we're below that. Why does it say previous week low is down here? This must be spawning the entire candle, which it should not be. But let me take a look at this one. So previous week low is there. That's Sunday. Okay. That's the open. Okay, yeah. So we have another major liquidity level below us. This is obviously consolidation. So this is similar to like this area here, just not taking that sweep right away. So I'm going to wait for something a little bit more clearer. Again, looking more so at like, instead of a one candle CISD, I'm looking for like a series of candles, or we're looking for something more like this as opposed to these like really quick moves. Just super unambiguous, right? So I'll play that through. Again, I could be wrong. This would be the theoretical CISD if I am wrong. Once we get above that, it's in play here. Would love to tag previous week low first. Okay, there we go. So we don't CISD. Look at that. We run liquidity instead. And we trade lower. So now it looks like we're getting that series of candles. Or not. Okay. We have a CISD here. We have a sweep at the same time. And the candle is closing higher. So we swept the low and we closed the high. This I cannot ignore. We didn't tag previous week low, which is a pain. This could definitely be inducement. But this is what happened. We swept previous hour low. Right? I don't know if there's an actual hourly array here or a 4-hour array here, but let's assume that there's likely SMT here. I won't check because SMT is a pain. Or hold on a second. I'll check, but don't cheat. This is Wednesday, 13:35. We will check, but don't cheat. Wednesday, right here. Don't cheat, guys. Don't look. Okay, so this is 1400. This is 1300. Let me see if I can drag this in. Okay. No, I don't want to add the SMT indicator. Just because I really don't want to add any indicators that she's not using. The previous week high and low, she's obviously using. Okay, so we did tag, hold on a second. What's happening here? Oh, the low. We tagged the open. We didn't tag the low. So we tagged that previous week open, that the same week. We have the low there, so no SMT between ES and NQ. And there's definitely no SMT on YM. Just YM is way up there. So for that specific low, for that specific weekly low, at YM technically already tagged it way early in the week. Let me just replay that here. Would that be easier? No, I can't do that. That's gonna just throw. Oh, let's go. 1400. I'll do there. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so we have SMT between these lows, but not specifically the open that we're looking at, right? So this SMT here, that's making a higher low on YM. Or ES and NQ both made a lower low. But that specific low that I wanted to run into, YM already ran that way early in advance. And this low that we're looking at, this one, YM and ES and NQ have not ran that. All right, so back to Belarus here. We have the 5-minute CISD. We swept the 1 hour low, and then we closed above the previous hour high. This is also an A plus CISD. At the same time, we have that inversion inside of our OB. These are all very good signatures. Okay, we will take this setup here. I want to double check to see if there's. So we only have hourly lows here. We don't, and then we're inside of a 1 hour inversion at the same time. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so we swept the low of that. Oh, and there's a volume imbalance right at that open. Okay, so 1 hour volume imbalance. We're inside of a 1 hour inversion. This is the volume imbalance right here. And then from a daily standpoint, we've already swept major liquidity points. So on the daily, we're below X amount of daily lows. A lot of daily lows. Every single daily low in the past week, basically. This is Wednesday. This is Monday. Maybe. I apparently have OTE set for lower time frame only. Yes, 0.79. Let's go. So this is also the soup level. From this low to this high of this bullish leg. All right. So we're in entry 1. Okay, we are tagged out of entry 1 and we're in entry 2. TP hit for 1R. TP hit for 2R. And that's into end of day as well. All right. So again, it's just really that principle of like when you have major lows being hit where you've taken especially 3-day lows and 3-day highs, like when you see that, any kind of setup that kind of forms after that, after the liquidity has been hit, just honestly take it. It's worth the RR for sure. So here is our first long. Let me spread this out just a bit so I can have a better look-see if I can grab it. Can't grab it. Hold on. This is the CISD. This is the entry. So we know we have 4 entries here because we get stopped out of 1. I'll pull this forward. There we go. 1R is there. So again, I'm going to move forward with only putting on the entries that are relevant to the trade and not placing all 3 just because that is turning out to be super time consuming and a pain for me. And it's also causing confusion when we go to track the trade as well. So 1R there, drag this up to 2R. And then I'll duplicate both of these guys if I can grab them. What's happening? Okay. There we go. Entry 2. Why are my entries showing here? That's why I have to grab them backwards. My entries are not showing on this. Oh, there we go. Pull this forward. I'll pull this forward as well. Pull that to TP, why not? Why are you only sleeping 5 hours? So, Rockbar, I used to be a professional sleep tech before I was a trader. Registered with the Board of Medicine in Virginia, recognized nationally, technically internationally with my sleep certification. I studied or I worked in that field for about 11 years, but I'll call it 9. I was 9 years in administration, 2 years just kind of floating around while I became a successful trader. Yes, exactly. I would actually argue that the first step to becoming a successful trader is to get a good night's sleep. That's just my take. Obviously, I'm biased, right? But I would argue that everyone should make it a rule to not trade when they're not getting any sleep. You know, there are exceptions, obviously, where like you're kind of just trading around the clock and you're not necessarily sleeping around the clock, and this is your technical, this is literally your schedule. But if you have like, if you're the type of trader that has a specific session, a specific setup, then you should really get some sleep prior to that specific session or setup, right? But if you're kind of someone that's kind of just trading 24 hours, that obviously would not apply to you. But if you're aiming for a specific model and you've tested it during a specific session, getting good rest before that session should be a rule in your model, I would argue. We spend 30% of our lives sleeping. You want to do it correctly. Wednesday, January 14th, 1:55. Yeah, but if you say so. Kobe was still getting 8 hours of sleep before a game, just saying. The sacrifice he was making was waking up early to practice, right? But if you say so, you can die before you can die with you can die from lack of sleep faster than you can die from not having water or food. That's for entry 1. Entry 2 gets tagged in at 1500. All these are macros, just want to point that out. Although that's something that we're not tracking on this specific model. I have noticed a lot that the entries and exits are during macros, which is just wild. Let's see. Previous close back, day closes back inside prior day. Opposing expansion. And opposing liquidity after sweeping one side, price tags the opposite side. Okay. If you don't define reversal precisely, reversal becomes vibes and you'll get inconsistent stats. So reversal, let's do reversal as tagging one range and then closing through 50% of that said range, like closing through EQ. Yes, but I guess technically we can close. Hold on. X points. Can you do for Y% of ATR, can you try 3 but 50% of ATR? I think technically, yeah, okay, let's try that. Yes, specifically 50%. Like if we close inside of, like, you know, after sweeping the high, we close in the bearish range, then yes. Sorry, accidentally closed that. 1500. And we hit CPS 1600. Oh, yes, I think that's right. Like, what? Okay. All right, so we have 65, 65, 60, 60. This is all New York PM. I think this is the first time we have a New York PM session trade, which is super ironic, being that Anya trades PM session. I guess what we have is the sessions defined as she technically trades lunch. All right, and then we had a volume imbalance specifically that we were trading off of. And that is a 1 hour to daily after taking many, many daily lows. And we have the sweep and CISD of all. First 2 entries get stopped, last 2 make money. Entry 1, entry 2. And this hits 3R. How's that possible? Because that TP is incorrect. This hits 4R and that's hit 7R. All right, so again, let's try to tag this max idea here. I'm just again gonna wait for the first CISD against us. Ooh, I guess that's technically it right there. All right, so then 2R is the max. Okay, guys. We are ending here. Wednesday, end of day. I just got my cue to hop off. Any questions, concerns, comments before I get off here? Yesterday's session and today's session will be posted. Last weekend sessions will not be posted. So you will find them on YouTube soon. Okay, guys, peace. Have a good one. Enjoy the snow. Go build an igloo, build a snowman, whatever it is you do. Stay warm. Kittler, stay warm, especially you. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy. My pleasure.